Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here once again with another Pokemon review for you, and this time we are still in the Alola region with a review of the Primarina Evolution set, where in this set we get one Popplio, we're going to go with Brionne, and then we have, obviously, Primarina. This set is exclusive to Barnes & Noble and clocks in at $25 for a price tag. So with that price point being a little bit more than all the figures would be at retail and the exclusivity, is this set worth hunting down? I know why you're here, so let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. Like I mentioned, this set is exclusive to Barnes & Noble, and all of the figures will be available at retail through other means, such as the Popplio through the Clip and Carry set or the Battle set. Brionne will actually be released in a 3-pack with the other Alolan starter second stages later on this year. I think that's coming out around April. And Primarina will actually be released on its own with the Z Crystal for that. So if you want to get everything now, you can get them all in this one set at Barnes & Noble. So this is what it's going to look like on the shelf. So to kick off the review, we're going to go in order, and we're going to start with Popplio here. Popplio is a very simple figure with a nice dark blue for the main body, a light blue for the frill, white eyes, and a nice pink nose. Realistically speaking, that's all I can say about Popplio here. Definitely does look like a happy little fella, and yep. The paint is pretty good. There's nothing really to talk about in that regard. It's all nice and clean. No articulation whatsoever. So even though Popplio is looking off to the right, you can't fix that and have the head swivel around to face the front, which is something that this figure really could have used. But considering the figure actually costs probably somewhere only around $3, it's in the acceptable range, and you know what? It's something that we as collectors can definitely work with for the price point. So, with a constant 360 spin of Popplio now out of the way, we're going to take a look at the next stage. Brionne, being the second stage, is actually just a little bit lighter than Popplio and is a little bit more complicated in terms of paint application and articulation. So all of the main core features of Popplio are retained here in the second stage. We still have that pink nose and the seal-like features, which are very nice and they're very pronounced here. The lighter blue is very eye-catching and it does look pastelish on the shelf, and even up close, the paint looks a little chalky, but not necessarily in the bad way like some of the D-Arts figures from Tamashii Nations. Does look very nice here. The eyes are actually very clean, where I'm going to assume that that's the pupil, and the white dot up above really isn't anything important. The pink is very clean, along with the pink on the nose. As you can see by the 360 spin, even looking all around, there really doesn't seem to be a single thing out of line here, which is very nice. Now, being a bigger figure, they can definitely work in some articulation, and we do have that, though it is very basic with just some swivels. We have one cut in the middle of the body, so this way you can spin around the bottom half of Brionne as you please. We do have swivels at the shoulders where the arms would be, though, and then the head plugs into the body at the neck on a swivel joint. So this way you can spin the head around too. So not a whole lot of articulation, but there are a few joints to be had here. Now, finally, we reach the end with Primarina. And as you can clearly see here, they did capture all of the details of Primarina wonderfully, with really not missing any beat at all. Looks exactly like the in-game 3D models, and there's really not too much to write home about in terms of what might be wrong, except when it comes to the articulation. So looks-wise, they did a pretty solid job with only a couple of things that I really think perfectionists need to keep in mind. But generally speaking, when you put this Primarina up on your shelf, it's going to look very nice. But with that in mind, let's actually take a closer look to see the finer details. The face details are pretty swell, actually. There are many colors used to get the eyes correct, including a dark blue, a pink, and a lighter blue, which actually kind of looks green, and it's all clean. Very well done here, except for the only thing that I can say that you might be able to see in these shots is that you can definitely see where all of the hair parts do clip into the head from straight on. At certain angles, you can't really see it, but you know, nitpicking here and there. Mine also had a couple of stray splotches of pink paint on the nose that I was able to actually rub off just by wetting my thumb a little bit and rubbing at it, so not too big of a deal. The starfish on the side of the head, the one doesn't necessarily look too perfect as it was removed from the mold, but to be honest, at about $13 for what this figure by itself would be worth, I'm not too upset with that. When we get to the hair, there's a nice glossy paint to it, which really gives it a nice shine. It really makes it look wet. However, for some, there are production markings in it, and unfortunately, mine really doesn't escape unscathed, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you really have to look for it in order to see that this is something that's wrong with the figure itself. So I really didn't notice it until I looked very hard at it. The rest of the body for the white paint looks absolutely fine. There are really no issues there, including the vest that is used on Primarina's chest. It's a separate piece of plastic that actually stays in pretty well. There's nothing to really be concerned about there. When we get to the rest of Primarina's body, the tail section, if you will, the spikes admittedly could be cleaned up a little bit more, but to be honest, it's nothing to really be that upset over. As we look over the rest of the tail, we do see the copyright information and the trademark information underneath the middle section of the articulated cut points, so that can be well hidden, or it might not be. You'll see in the articulation section, and the tip of the tail is done really well, with many blues used along with the whites. So in general, Primarina looks very nice with very minimal quality control issues. So if Primarina is one of your favorite Pokemon, then congratulations, you got a pretty solid looking action figure here. Primarina's articulation is pretty straightforward, but unfortunately, Primarina's not going to be taking too many poses. So what do we have? On the hair, we do have a couple of swivels. So this way you can move the hair around. You can spin it around like that. Going to be bumping into the body and whatnot, but you know what? That's the nature of the beast for the design. Head attaches into the neck on the ball joint. No, seriously, on the ball joint. You can see there. It's easy to pop off. Not that big of a deal. Shoulders are on swivel hinges, so this way you can spin them around at the base and you can move them up and down. And then, you know, you can move them forward and back as well, just like so, along with what the elbows would be right here. So that's pretty nice. Now, we have a swivel here, right? Nope. It's just a plug or like a peg or something, and it doesn't do anything. Except if you twist it, you might actually end up breaking it, so don't do that. Then when we get to the tail section here, this is on a swivel, so you can spin it around where the tail meets into the body. There's the trademark and all that good stuff down there. This section is on a swivel as well, so you can spin it around. And then this final tip is on a swivel, so you can spin it around as well. Now, here's one of the issues with Primarina. Unfortunately, because of how it's designed, it's kind of top-heavy. And, oh, you can use the arms on the figure to help it stand. And yes, you can, only in certain poses. So you're going to have to be very careful with how you pose Primarina, because the shoulder joints can be loose, resulting in the figure falling over like this. Yeah, you got to be very creative. But once you do get Primarina into a fun pose, I'll try to do it like I did in some of my shots. Kind of like this. Then it should stay put. There we kind of go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if my hand didn't bump into it. But yeah, something to keep in mind. You're going to have to probably keep this flat no matter what, and posing will be a little limited. So yes, plenty of joints, nice engineering, but realistically speaking, it's not an Incineroar. Yeah. Now, the standard Primarina release is supposed to have the Z crystal with it, so this way it can use Oceanic Operetta. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway, this set does not include the Z crystal, despite the Incineroar set actually being promoted as having the crystal to begin with. But anyway, yeah, no Z crystal included here, so I won't be able to show you that. But the individual released Primarina will have that Z crystal, and that's supposed to be released sometime in March 2017. But in the meantime, if you do want to have Primarina recreate the Z move, there are some effect parts on the market which do not come with the figure or with the set. So if you'd be interested in setting up a nice display for that, there should be a card popping up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Click on that, and I'll help you find the effect parts that you need. Yep, I love that video. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the review with a nice size comparison of Primarina and the whole evolutionary line, along with a whole bunch of other figures you just might have, so this way you can see exactly how big all these figures are. And to be honest, Primarina is pretty small, so I think it would scale pretty well with everything else that's on your shelf already. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Overall, I do think that the Primarina Evolution set is pretty nice with very, very minimal quality control issues, though admittedly I do feel like Primarina is, well, the articulation does make it pretty weak, even though Primarina to begin with isn't my favorite starter. So yeah, admittedly there is that bias there, but to be honest, that lack of swivel at the ab crunch chest area, that kind of makes me scratch my head. At $25, they definitely should have included the Z Crystal because let's break down the prices. Popplio by itself is going to be worth about $3. Brionne by itself, it's going to be worth about $5. And then we have Primarina, which is going to retail for about $13 following the trends for the other action figures released. So you figure that's $21. Where is that extra money going? Is it just to the exclusivity? Is it going to just the packaging? Who knows? But at the end of the day, this is a very, very nice set where Primarina and Popplio fans are going to absolutely love it. Why not Brionne fans? Because, I don't know, most people just like the first and the last stage. But anyway, if you like what you're seeing, I definitely recommend picking it up before you regret it. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.